you guys pull up the Philly roster? I hate how Alzheimer's is catching up to me already at 30 years old. They signed the guy from Denver. You'll know. Click Philly. Right there.
Philly.
Roster. Wilson Chandler.
Oh yeah,
Oh,
but
yeah.
he's always injured. He's always injured.
I
anyways.
love Wilson Chandler.
Oh boy,
Yeah.
yeah.
That's who they picked up. Yeah.
That's really good. Really good. He's a blend-in guy.
All right.
Yeah, I actually like Teddy.
Oh, I want to try and get this done half.
TJ
Let's do
TJ
like
McConnell
30,
was another
35
guy.
minutes.
Oh, they got Amir Johnson too.
They always have.
Emeka Okafor, eh?
Who? Philly?
Billy.
Oh, Philly had him here last year, yeah. Okay, so let's try and do 30 minutes. We'll spend some time on the playoff teams, and after we'll just run through it. All right, just like 30 minutes because I have to take a shower and also go five. It's only down the street, but still. All right, welcome back to On the Block. We're going to try and get through the West a little bit quicker than we did with these. Got a little bit off topic. Let's start. We'll start with Golden State. I mean, they got DeMarcus Cousins, one of your guys. I'm not so sure that he's gonna be the best fit there. Not to say that they're running up and down like crazy. I just don't know how they're gonna share the ball that well. But he's also rumored not to come back until the new year, February, or maybe even January, whatever it happens to be. They want to make sure that he's fresh for a playoff run. You guys think that obviously they come in first? Houston did lose some guys. Houston and Golden State at one for you.
Oh, you want me to talk about
Golden
feel
State.
about them?
Yeah.
They're just going to be the same team they are. I think Cousins, Igor was starting to say it, and I think it's almost common sense. Like there's going to be games where their shots aren't hitting. He's going to be getting boards, and then they're going to be like, okay, let's ride him, and he'll have like a 20-point quarter or something. And then if they're ever in danger, they'll do that. So he's a big problem. So if the only thing that you're thinking is you can't stop their shooting, but if you have some sort of a chance if they're not hitting shots. But now if Cousins comes back at least 70, that chance has been cut even more because if they're not hitting, they can dump inside.
The thing with Golden State was always the way that you're going to beat them is that you're going to pound them inside. Now you got Cousins coming in, and if he's actually healthy,
that's the thing, right?
You can't. To me, like they looked like an unbeatable force the last couple of years for the most part, and now you add that to pretty much if Cousins is healthy and he isn't a problem, which we know he is a problem sometimes. They're their biggest glaring weakness since probably when Andrew Bogut or whatever they had back a couple years ago. They actually have a legitimate big man that can dominate inside. So now I don't really see any weak points on the team. Like, is there really nothing there? Like, what can you say?
The thing a lot of people are forgetting is Achilles injuries, like, realistically in careers. Like, I know that Kobe was older. That put Kobe out of commission. He was never the same. I remember Vashawn Leonard from back in the day had that. Rudy Gay had it. And, like, these guys were never great to begin with, but they've regressed since. You lose a lot of explosiveness, and I know that DeMarcus is not dunking on anybody and he's not blowing by people, but he's going to be that much slower and that much less explosive. And I know that his shot got better last year, and, you know, he's still a strong guy, but I just think it's going to be very hard for him. I think that we're going to, and, you know, people might be like, oh, he's just coming back from an injury. It's not just an injury. It's, like I said, it's that Achilles injury. And, you know, I pray that nobody gets it because, remember, Fama had it, my buddy.
Yes,
and he's not even an athlete, but, like, you don't come back from that injury and you're nothing close to, like, what you used to be.
But think about it. If you think, like, if DeMarcus comes back at a reasonable, you legitimately, in that starting five, you can make a case that you have 5 guys that are probably in the top 20 to 25 players in the league. You can make that case. And I don't think anyone's ever been able to make that case.
No.
Absolutely ridiculous talent.
But I don't think power has anything to do with it. That's why Argentina beat the States. It doesn't matter about that. If you're a better team, that's why I'm just amazed at what Boston did without any of their players. If that was even a quarter of LeBron doing that, they would have been praised him as the best player. Try to even boost that to more of the Jordan comparison. They had none of their players. They were all hurt, and they still competed. It, like when you said, or all of us, I guess, kind of said it depends on injury. To me, that doesn't matter. If Hayward comes back at 20% and even gets hurt again, I'm not worried. They're still a good team.
Yes, but that's also because of the depth situation. Now, if you look at the Golden State situation, they're front loaded. If guys go down injured, they're not gonna have guys up. The benchman, Iggy, there's a couple of guys. Sean Livingston, another year older, he's injury prone. They don't have the kind of guys in terms of the bench squad that if guys go down with significant injuries, let's say 2 or 3 of those guys go down with significant injuries, they'll be competitive, but they don't have the bench guys to be taking those minutes.
But I think the part I'm trying to say is that the Boston, they play the way that they play.
Mm-hmm.
Golden State plays according to what they have. So if something gets taken away from
They
it,
change.
they completely act different. So it's not just because like, so if you lose, to me, if they lose Durant and play Boston and Boston's healthy, they're destroying them. I think that if Golden State's completely healthy but they're missing Hayward, Boston still has a chance because they still play the way that they play. And even if Kyrie comes, let's say that they miss Hayward and then Hayward, they miss Hayward in the conference finals, right? And he comes back completely healthy in the finals. I'm not saying, of course, their chances are better, but I'm not saying I guarantee the win because he's back. They still do what they do. He just
no
makes
matter
them
who's
better.
there.
Golden State's not that. So even though they're dangerously stacked, and yes, they could easily just beat everyone, absolutely. I am riding with the team, the Boston, who plays like a unit, as opposed to these stacked players that are taking turns.
But even that comparison, even without Durant, if you were to stack up the teams,
If they lose
you'd
Durant,
still think that you think that Boston would actually beat them even if Durant
If
was
Durant
not?
was not there, absolutely.
With
If
Durant
Boston-
or
with a healthy, because if you look, let's go if you want to go player for player. If you're looking at, let's go point guard situation, you take Steph Curry over Kyrie
So
Irving.
now you're doing
right?
power. They have more power, so that I can't do. Like I'm not going by that.
But that's what I'm telling
Like,
you.
that's like a
situation,
losing-
even with Durant gone, like they would still stack up immensely.
I
with
don't think.
anybody.
Yeah,
Curry's
with
a choker.
anybody, I just don't think
Anybody.
so. But who?
Curry's a choker.
Well, it was you because I
Curry's a
brought.
choker.
He is
You
in
know
the
that.
finals. He is.
You know he is.
He's not. He's
That's
not
why he
done
got
well
there.
in the finals.
Yeah,
He's not done well.
Again, he's not done well in the finals.
He's
But
had 1 or 2 games that he's
that
gone
goes
off
back.
on.
If Curry has a bad game, you gotta
He's had
watch out for
multiple games.
watch out for Clay. You now have to watch out for DeMarcus.
But they play
There's
good team
gonna be
defense. You don't
There's
have
a
to worry
few,
about
yeah,
that.
yeah, exactly. There's a few
Guard
things.
them all.
First of all, I don't know how many times I can say this. I don't think DeMarcus Cousins will be anything like what he's been, just because of the injury. How significant people don't understand. Wait till he gets back in 6 months, whenever Christmas comes and he's playing, he's not going to be the same. And I'm not wishing bad on him. I'm just saying that's the nature of the
The
injury.
Achilles injury. Okay.
What I want to say about Golden State is, and I told someone else this, I think this is the year, and we see this with every team except maybe New England because they've sprinkled in some stuff in every sport.
All the sport there.
Teams just fall off a cliff one year. I'm not saying Golden State's old, even LeBron's teams, unless you come in and they don't have the bench that they used to have with Barbosa and all the guys that they had from, what's the guy, anyways, all the guys that they had before, Livingston, that are younger.
Livingston.
They don't have any depth. I feel like this year, after playing so many finals, it's been, 4 or 5 in a row? I think they're running out of gas,
They
first of
complacent?
all.
Okay.
Not even complacent, they're just running out of gas. And like when they went to the finals 2 years ago, when they lost 2 games going to the finals, this year you're going through Houston, who should have beat them last year if Chris Paul was healthy. That's what I wanted to get to with you. Houston would have beat them.
Mhm.
We thought Utah would perform better. I think they only won 1 game in that series, or they might have even got swept. I don't remember. Utah's another year better with Donovan Mitchell, who we know is going to be better. OKC is better depth-wise. They have so many guys. Roberson's going to be healthy. LeBron, who you might play in the second round, that's your guy.
Did Utah played Houston? Didn't they? They didn't play Golden State. Golden State played New Orleans, didn't they? Yes.
Mhm.
Yeah. So I think
Oh, so
Utah
Utah-
lost to Houston.
Oh, they
They
played
lost
Houston
to
and Houston and
Houston
in the
beat-
finals, but who was in the second round that they played?
No, Houston played Utah in the I think the second round.
They beat OKC and then they
So-
played them.
Yeah. They beat OKC and then Utah lost to Houston. They didn't lose to Golden State.
So who were their 3 series against?
Golden
Golden State played Houston in the final, the West Final.
Yes, they played. Golden State played New Orleans.
Oh, it was New Orleans who they swept.
Yes,
That's
yes.
right. Okay. Then they have the Lakers potentially in the second round of the
No,
playoffs.
the one New
New
Orleans
Orleans
won the game.
won
They won
one
the
game.
game.
They won one game.
So, anyways, what I'm getting at is the road is a lot tougher. If you're playing LeBron in the second round, doesn't matter who LeBron has on his team. You're
Yeah,
not. It's not like you're playing Anthony Davis
Golden
in the
State had
second round where it
San
has
Antonio
nobody.
the first round. I remember this. At San Antonio.
Point is, it's getting
Yeah,
tougher.
yeah.
They're not going to get to the West Finals, and they're going to be, we're fresh. We didn't play anybody. Our bench has been playing. I think for them, like I said, we'll come back to this next in the playoffs next year. I think Golden State does not win this year.
Oh wow.
Yes, yeah, I don't think that they win. I don't know who's going to win. I don't even know. Like, I would not be surprised if they don't make it out of the West, which they probably shouldn't have last year if Chris Paul was healthy.
Yeah.
What do you? Hold on, they went to Game 7, and
But
they
again, the Houston team is worse.
why?
So who do you got?
They lost
Who
Trevor
do you got?
Ariza, right? Bambuti never played, so I don't want to say Bambuti never
But
played.
again, there's Carmelo up in that team.
Houston
I think-
won't beat them this year.
No
then
chance.
who's
chance.
got them there? Unless you turn to the dark side and say that LeBron's got them. Unless you say LeBron's
Oh,
got them.
I'm going. I'm going OKC.
Oh, I don't know about that one.
If LeBron were to play Golden State, think he'd have a shot with the Lakers?
if LeBron plays them, no, he has no chance of
He thought about it for a second. It's just like,
I just want to just say one quick thing about Golden State, what you said. The only thing why I don't like Golden State and I haven't liked them is the reason I don't go by age or any of that garbage or, okay, it's about time you lose. You can be a good team for a certain amount of time and then you could lose, but then come back and, have that like legacy like San Antonio, Boston, like New England. Wait,
longevity.
Yeah.
Yes.
But the reason that I don't like Golden State and I haven't liked them is because they always lose because of arrogance and because they think they're good. There's always something like Draymond when he did that thing, got kicked out, and just like even though that they cheated, but just constant nonsense. And now they have this ego.
Sore losers.
Yeah, they just have this ego about them that I think a team they thought they were so above Houston talent wise. Those rosters they shouldn't have.
So the Golden State Warriors have turned into the NBA's version of the Yankees in people's minds. The way the winning's got everybody and the Patriots too. Everybody loves to hate the Patriots.
Houston should have took them to Game 7. And
so
I can tell in your face.
And I guarantee you, this might change in a couple of months but he'll never admit it. If it comes down to a West final and it's the Lakers against Golden State, a part of them, because of all this arrogance that he's talking about Golden State and them winning continuously, he might actually be pulling a little bit for the Lakers.
He's the only
he might just do it
all the teams in the league, he's the only X factor that gets rid of that because of the talking they know he'll do.
LeBron?
Yeah, he's the only one that will make them put the arrogance to the side and say we got to kill him because if he beats us,
but you wouldn't cheer for them against the Golden State Warriors, right?
Would you
cheer for them?
I wouldn't cheer for any of them.
But you'd watch it though, because remember last year you didn't want to watch the playoffs. I remember you said that.
So if they play, I'm telling you, I promise you, I barely will watch. If they play in the
I
playoffs,
see a part of them wants the Lakers to win.
Unless Cousins is playing good and I'm supporting him, fine.
He's gone to that thing where Golden State's become that juggernaut that everybody's like, man, I hope they lose. Because if you're not a supporter, you just want to see them
wonder
win.
Boston's still in it.
I don't care if they're powerful. I'm looking at their behavior. I'm looking at their comments.
Yeah, because they've gotten arrogant with the that happens to all with the Yankees, the Patriots.
But that wouldn't happen with Boston. I just feel like those guys are a little bit different. I don't think you think that if Boston won 2 championships, they'd come around cocky like Golden State.
No, but it's like
remember,
I'll give you a perfect example. Remember Tristan? Remember what Tristan said?
What you just said?
I loved that. I almost am gonna ride with him. If I did fantasy, I'd pick him just because of what he said. I love that arrogance, but it's not an arrogance like cockiness. It's like he's like. We already done. You know what we did with Toronto. Like he's speaking facts.
Funny enough, we didn't even mention Cleveland in the last segment.
We did not.
We did not.
That
was such an afterthought.
You're all Cleveland for 3 years, and now you forgot them.
You guys have Cleveland in the playoffs. I can't believe that. We didn't even have
I have Cleveland in battling for last place with a
They're not.
You don't think so? I don't know. Kevin Love.
I'll put Cleveland 9 or 10.
Really?
Yeah.
Really? Even though that team was so freaking terrible without LeBron there last year.
I guarantee everyone's numbers.
Kevin Love's gonna get like 24 and 10 this year.
Everybody that you guys called bums that LeBron didn't have help are gonna be playing good this year.
Ron,
improve my point.
You're also gonna have well, you ever hear that complex where bad team, someone's gonna have to score? Hey,
I'm not going by that. You can go by the eyeball test that these players that you.
I don't think 9 or 10 based on how they played last year. I don't think.
J.R. Smith is gonna play better. Rodney Hood is gonna play better. Kevin Love is gonna play better. Even Tristan Thompson is gonna play better.
The ball,
we only have 15 minutes to finish through the West. I'm sorry, Houston. You guys think that they regressed because they lost Ariza and got Carmelo. How much worse are they? Are they the second seed or no?
Second place.
But so you still have them in 2.
I still have them at 2 because if you look at the factors of it, that they still have they still have Paul, they still have Harden, who to me again is a nice little duo they have going, and everything's working for them. I mean, if Harden plays at the level that he needs to, and so does Paul, and
Capella's there too, protecting the rim.
They still have good players. Ariza's an important. Ariza's like if Golden State lost like Iguodala in a sense. He's a player, but he's not the be all and end all. Here's the thing: I wouldn't be surprised because I think you guys mentioned with Golden State. And if the Golden State really doesn't take the regular season that seriously, and they don't bring it into the 3rd or 4th year, they may not even they might finish 2nd or 3rd or even 3rd. Wouldn't surprise me because they're not they're just like Cleveland did last year for the most part. A lot of these other teams they may rest guys. You're right, man. They play long seasons. Give some guys some rest time. They may even
But
do that.
just even
I don't
for
know. I don't think
stats,
they'll take
it's
them
not
that
they're going to
seriously.
take time off though. They still need to get their numbers. They
We
still
don't
have
know.
some kind of Golden State.
No, I'm going to say like I'm going to be surprised if they take a regular.
Yeah, but he's
Yeah.
comparing them to what place they're going to be
If
in.
they know what place they're going to be in, because I wouldn't be surprised if Houston actually comes in first again, because I don't think Golden State takes the regular season seriously. I really don't.
I think they dropped.
I
I
really
think
don't.
Houston is going to be in fourth.
That's what I want to hear.
Wow.
Like I don't have them that low, but I want.
Fourth.
I don't think that. Yeah.
Wow.
Okay. Why?
From first to fourth, okay.
I just don't. I absolutely don't like Carmelo. I think and not that he's not a good player. I'm sure he can do something. But
For that.
Chris Paul is as much as I love him, I just wish he could stay healthy. But if God forbid he gets hurt for a couple of games, they can do nothing. And Carmelo, it's not like they can play that other sort of thing where you can kick out with a reason to hit a three and then play some defense. Like Carmelo just he's just a black hole. Everybody's just gonna. It's just they're not going to do well. And I didn't even think they were going to do as good as they did last year.
But
I didn't even
the only
think that.
thing that I can counter that with is before they got Chris Paul, they still only had Harden. Like they traded him for a bunch of like Sam Decker and bench guys, and first round pick and Patrick Beverly, who I do like. But it's like if you take let's just say Chris Paul were to get hurt, like they still finish strong. They'll be in the regular season. They're still going to finish second or third or
Not to
fourth,
me.
maybe.
OKC's 10 times better. We'll get to that.
Really?
To me, I told you what I think DeRozan's going to do.
Okay,
with the
let's go
Spurs.
OKC. What do you like about them?
I like that they got Schroeder. I think he's a good, perfect point guard off the bench that doesn't challenge Westbrook, but will not
Stay in his
but it
lane.
won't be a drop off when he comes onto the floor. I think that the fact that Paul George has decided to stay there, it completely changes as opposed to you playing and not knowing if he's coming back. So I think that adds to it. The camaraderie, that's a big thing. That what
Faith.
Boston has, what you have with each other, you don't have to add one player to your team. You can get better just by that alone. And now that they know he's there long term, they know Westbrook's there long term. I like what they got. I think they'll beat Houston. I don't even have a doubt. We'll sit here and make excuses why they won, but
Okay,
See, here's the other thing. So you may mention Schroeder. How is Schroeder's situation going to be any different than Oladipo's situation? In
Oladipo
your
wasn't.
opinion?
Oladipo, what they
Oladipo
very
started.
easily. I'll answer that very easily. They tried to make Oladipo another Harden. They lost Harden, and they wanted to get another playmaker type guard type thing, and Victor Oladipo wasn't due. Schroeder is a pure point guard.
So okay, so basically
That's the
they traded Schroeder for
Carmelo.
They got bounced by Utah in the first round last year.
Mhm.
So
Utah was
what?
a better team.
So what? So
They
okay,
didn't
so
have
then
better
you
players.
have you have them at 3.
I still think Utah beats them this year in the playoffs.
Yeah, I think.
What? But is
I
Schroeder
think
that
Utah's-
much of an improvement? And how is our? I guess not having Melo in terms of Melo
Not having Melo makes them better.
makes them
I
better
think.
in general. I
But I
guess,
think
but
Schroeder's kind of close.
I don't see. I
But how
don't.
do you not understand when you saw what Victor did in OKC and you saw what he did when he went to Utah?
It was
He's not
the
that much-
system that they put in was the wrong
No, but
system.
what don't you?
No,
I
but
don't,
don't-
I don't understand why you don't understand that one player can switch up everything.
No, but I'm telling you that I believe that again. Schroeder was another guy that was in Atlanta was a guy that got a lot of looks. He won't have that in OKC again. He's gonna go second or third
He's a
fiddle.
point guard.
I understand that, but he was also
He was a top
He
scorer.
was a top
He was a
scorer
top
in
option
Atlanta.
on
That's
that
not going to be like a top option. He's going to have issues playing with Russell because everybody has issues.
But I don't think he's going to play with Russell. I think he's going to be like their sixth man. Like,
Sixth
take on
man,
Russell,
okay.
Hold on,
go
but
crazy.
his gameplay is not dependent on the point per game stat. Yes,
Okay.
you want a point guard that can score, hit an open shot. Like you don't want like a fully Rondo, but that's not what his thing is based off of. So if his numbers, if his point per game drop, that doesn't mean anything.
So let me ask you: you have OKC at 3. Are you in terms of the playoffs?
Regular season. Like I know, like we're talking
Yeah,
playoffs.
regular
I-
season standing.
so
Yeah,
I
we can regular
understand
season.
My
but-
favorite,
but it-
team in the West is Utah.
That's what I was gonna say. I would have
Utah.
Utah beating OKC in the playoffs again.
Again, okay.
Okay, so let's just go regular season. OKC.
Okay.
Uh,
I have them at
yeah,
third.
I have them at third
because I
Oh
think
no, I don't.
I think the situation will be that some of the other teams. I think again Utah. A lot of people will see what Donovan Mitchell is now. That they'll have a little bit of, I do like Rudy Gobert,
I
but
like
we'll get to
Gracie
the-
Allen.
Yeah, I think he's going to be nice for them too.
I agree.
So I have OKC in fourth. They did get better in general. They signed. I'm drawing crazy blanks today, but they signed the center that went like second overall that Philly took a few years ago. Not Okafor, the one before, the defensive guy that went to Dallas. Nerlens Noel. They signed Nerlens Noel to be their backups, and they really solidified a lot of their bench.
Okay.
I do like what they did, and also obviously having Andre Robertson back.
Back.
But he's one of the best defenders in the league at that position. So if he goes down, it's a big loss for them. But I think that they're going to finish fourth, and which segues to my next team. I do have Utah finishing third, who I was high on last year. Even before I knew what Mitchell was, I just thought that the loss of Gordon Hayward, they're going to come out on fire, and they found the perfect guy to replace him. That's your guy.
Yeah.
And I love Utah. I love what they do. I was really disappointed they didn't give a better showing in the second round of the playoffs last year. But they're still a young team.
Yeah.
They re-signed Favors, another guy who I like. He's a great defender, can hit some shots. Grayson Allen, I think he's very gritty. He fits that mold as well. He's a defensive guy that can get pestered. I don't like him, but I think for the bench he'd be all right.
Utah, and I've said this before on this show 2 straight years. I said Utah is exactly what Boston is, but in the West. I've said that for 2 straight years, and as much as I love Boston, I love Utah equally. A little bit less, but equally.
Not as talented as Boston's team though, but they're
I just love them. I really love everything. I think that
the coach.
I love the coach. I love everything about Utah, and I have them as like 6.
Ooh.
But I think that they can still do damage in the playoffs. But I just want to make sure I'm clear so I don't look like some hypocrite. Utah's my squad in the West, but because they lost OKC lost last year, I could see them and Westbrook and his mentality, and if he gets George to stop being such a wimp, a beta, that they could easily beat Utah again. And I hope that doesn't happen because I love Utah, but I want Westbrook to.
Who would you pick me if Utah played OKC?
If Utah beat OKC.
Yeah. Okay. Also, you're saying that you can see OKC beating Utah this year or no?
Yeah, this year because they lost. Like there's factors at play, like certain situations, whatever. You're talking just like a team. Utah's a better team. OKC has more power on their team.
Okay.
And they have the best player to me, which is Westbrook. But
Utah all the way down
in the playoff series.
That's 6. Wow.
If I have to bet my house, I'm saying OKC. But my heart is telling me I know you. Like
because Mitchell's another year better. Mitchell's another year.
No, they're absolutely good.
And Rudy was injured a lot last year.
Yeah, and that's the only reason why they didn't finish maybe second. Okay, so we're all Utah. What do you think about them?
So I have Utah in 5th. I think again solid squad. I don't like Grayson Allen. I think all that Duke shenanigans. I was never a fan. I don't think I'll ever be a fan.
No, I wasn't a fan of what he did either.
Again, solid team. I think again we'll do one of those situations where Donovan Mitchell gets a little more found out that he's now that they got another year to study him. I think Rudy's at probably top 3, top 4 defensive players in the league.
Mm-hmm.
It's a workman-like team that like yes Mitchell shines out as a star, but they play some good ball. Like I said, I don't think I thought that OKC would have beat him last year based off that Russ was gonna really take over the series. It didn't happen. They play a better team game than OKC. We'll see what happens with that. I don't think it'd be a matchup that OKC would want. I'll tell you that much.
Definitely not. You know what? Dante Exum actually is back. He's been injured. He's been one of the most injured guys in the league. But that's the Australian guy that they have.
Yes,
that's like 6'6" point guard. That's a very good defender. And if he's healthy, that's just someone else who they can throw at you.
LA doesn't play though. That's what you got to worry about.
Well, again,
which leads us right now. Let's go into the Lakers. What do you have there? Number 1?
No. I don't have the Lakers as number 1. I stuck with my prediction that I stated on the last show. The Lakers finished. I think they finished with 34 wins or something along those lines last year.
You said 50 plus.
I said 45 to 50 wins.
That's
a big gap.
That's not what we argued.
That's a big gap.
You said they want to go 5 out. I will stick to 50.
Okay, thank you.
I'm pretty sure I said between 45 and 50 wins. Because you said they wouldn't go 500.
41's 500. You probably need 45 to get in the playoffs.
I would say yes. I will take that. Because I've heard predictions where some people say they get 55 wins.
Oh, they're crazy.
Hey,
you think he believes me?
Stephen A has them in the Western Conference Final. Don't get it twisted. Anyways,
he knows how the game's played. It's more than just
the referees.
He knows.
Oh, okay. Well, again, you look at that team, and again, the young core is still intact. Again, Kevin Durant are still the best player in the game, joining the squad.
Okay.
In LeBron James.
Who's your second best player?
Their second best player, I would say, it's probably Kuzma. I would say
Kuzma's better than Ingram too.
I think Kuzma's better than Ingram. I think Kuzma had a really solid situation. And I think a lot of those situations, like why they didn't get Kawhi, is because they refused to give up a lot of those young guys. I like Hart. I think Hart's going to be a good player.
He's a bench guy.
The core, again, they have a lot of misfits. It could be, again, a situation where it can implode. Again, Beasley, God knows that JaVale McGee isn't the sharpest knife in the drawer. Rondo, again.
Rondo, they said he's starting.
I like this. If you want to...
But even if he's not...
Well, even if he's not. I think Ball's a guy that needs a lot of work. Anyways.
You want to bet Ball starts?
No.
I'm just going to say, I'm not going to have to argue.
When they get to the playoffs, Ball will start over Rondo? Is that what you're saying?
Yes. And here's the thing.
The start of that team.
LeBron, in this sense, with the fit with Rondo, if they don't clash, that's actually pretty solid. In a sense where LeBron needs shooters, and Rondo's not a shooter. But it takes a guy, another guy that can actually handle the ball. And to me, if all comes together, they'll be pretty tough. Like, I think, again, it's going to take some growing pains.
They have like 0 shooters. That's the only problem I have with them, right?
And
Like,
for a
LeBron team, that's a downfall.
That's a downfall. But also, LeBron usually won't be the primary handler. Sometimes he will, sometimes he won't. He'll give some to Rondo. But I think they have an opportunity to be an impactful team because of the situation. LeBron always makes teams better. You guys can say, "Oh, Cleveland's going to be 9th or 10th this year without LeBron."
I have a question.
Personally, I don't really believe all that, but I think he adapts the team to where there were 34 wins last year. They will get hitting up that 50-win mark, close to it.
Quick question for you:
Yes.
If you didn't like Cleveland's team going to the playoffs because you said they were all trash, man. If LeBron,
I was never a big fan of Kevin, but anyways, yeah.
If LeBron had this Lakers team right now in the finals last year, so if you swap Cleveland, the Lakers teams, and you have LeBron's Cleveland Lakers there going against Golden State, how do you think they do?
They would definitely win at least a game or two.
Oh, okay, so they're not doing much better then.
Well, again,
Okay,
even LeBron, again, LeBron's not saying, "Oh, we're gonna go in there, we're gonna beat Golden State." He has not been saying that.
Because I think
is the Lakers? No, he's also realistic.
Yeah.
I think is this Lakers team more talented than that Cleveland team? I would say 100%.
Yeah.
Without
but
question.
Cleveland has much better shooters. That's a big thing.
But
The shooting is not even close, right?
But again, it
But
also
you're
depends on
young.
when guys are on. He has a lot of the same kind of like J.R. Smith, Michael Beasley. There's I think a better
Different names on the
different
jerseys,
names
but
on the
similar
jersey,
player.
but you look at it. Let's go. Okay, so yeah, you have Kevin Love. He was the second best player on the Cleveland team.
He would be the second
He
best
would be
player
the
on the
second player on
Lakers.
the Lakers team. But then after that, it fell dramatically.
Yep.
Over on the Lakers, you got guys that know
Stability.
their roles. There's a more stability. You got Kuzma. You got Rondo. You got. I like Lance, man. Lance is a
Who
performer.
they signed to play power forward because they lost they lost Randall.
They
Who
lost
did they
Randall.
replace
I
him
think they
with?
lost Brook Lopez.
I don't think they really replaced him. I could be wrong. I know they got
I don't
JaVale.
JaVale, and again, JaVale's on the sharpest knife there, but he actually had a pretty good playoff.
He's fine. Like in
He's
the
fine.
playoffs, he's
Yeah, as
fine.
is
They
well.
played
And
20
again,
minutes.
it's a one again.
Maybe small
Everyone's
ball.
thinking this is the situation. They sign a bunch of guys on 1-year deals. Why? Because next summer when the free agents come
Davis or
along,
Kawhi,
they're gonna go in on the free agents. So no one's expecting a ton out of them this year, but they're gonna be competitive. They're gonna make the playoffs.
And that's exactly what I was going to say. What LeBron's going to the season is saying is, hey, I'm going to roll the dice. Whatever happens, happens. Next year, I know I got either Anthony Davis, Jimmy Butler, Kawhi Leonard, someone signed.
Someone to go in there with him.
Because he needs the help, right?
Guys, it's my goal. And Igor, you're not saying nothing.
He's only got 10
I let you
minutes.
talk.
Yeah,
No, you're talking the mic.
Yeah,
I'm
we're
gonna
gonna
get
give
my
some time. Yeah.
unfiltered LA time. I don't want to hear. And if you guys have questions, raise your hands, and I'll stop for the question. You're not gonna interrupt my time. I let you guys say that gibberish.
Okay, here we go.
LeBron, big factors. LeBron makes people worse. When I'll make sure I'm clear.
Here we go.
You guys can bring up that LA has a better team, which I think a part of it has to do with youth. And Lance Stevenson, and they got some other guys. So Rondo, I guess, yeah, you're right. I apologize. So you're right with these new guys. I thought you meant last year's Lakers.
No,
Lakers
no,
were
no,
Okay, fine.
Just
Okay,
Lakers
fine.
team, man.
Fine. So Ingram's no good, by the way, but that's still my time. What I'm saying is that what LeBron will do with them, this is fact. Fact is, LeBron was not going to play in the preseason game. And when he heard the uproar and heard everyone attacking, you can make that face.
This
He
year?
said
This year? Okay.
he was going to sit out the
I
preseason
didn't hear
games.
that. Okay.
Yes, he did.
Okay.
So you can Google it if you want to.
Okay.
And then when he heard the
Okay.
uproar and started hearing all these sports shows and saying even Tom Brady playing in the preseason, he's 41. Then LeBron came out yesterday and said that he was going to play in the opener.
That's so much different.
What was his
than-
reason for not playing today?
He just said he did not do. Rest. Wait, it's not your turn.
So different.
Yeah, it's not different.
Well, the football thing is like they play like one series and then they don't play the rest.
He played the whole first half in the last preseason game.
Yes, the
Tom
last one
Brady.
they did
Okay,
that,
thank
the
you.
last
And he
preseason,
did in the
yeah.
second last game too. Tom Brady did. But it's my turn.
Yeah.
So as I was saying, so LeBron was gonna sit. I've never seen Jordan sit in the preseason games. I've never seen Kobe sit in the preseason games. And now he's talking like he wants to sit. How can you sit when you're on a new team trying to build camaraderie with young guys? I understand if you've been on this team all the time. Even then, I wouldn't even say nothing. If he sat in Cleveland last year, I wouldn't say a word. I don't care. That's your squad. You went to the finals 4 years in a row. Fine. You're building a camaraderie with a bunch of young guys. And people are thinking they're going to jump to 50 wins because you added LeBron. Stevenson, who I love dearly, he's a wild horse. You have to know how to tame him. Rondo is not scared of anybody. LeBron isn't going to tell Rondo where to go and do these things. Rondo's
he knows
the
he
point
can't
guard.
say that to Rondo.
Exactly, but there's going to be an issue. And we're going to have a wonderful, I can't wait for on national TV for him to have that Tristan LeBron argument that they had last year. Because Rondo will not take LeBron's garbage.
I think they're going to get along, though.
I hope they do.
those two
I don't
will
want
get
to see
along.
fighting,
Yeah.
but I'm saying that if LeBron, the only chance that LA fans, LeBron witnesses have against me is if LeBron sits back and realizes I've lost a lot, and let me listen to these other guys and let's play as a unit. But if he does what he did in Cleveland, where you guys sit around, I'm gonna get my stats, and you guys do what I want you to do, they're gonna get smoked. Ingram can't, just like you said, shooters, they got none. Let Ball and Rondo bring up the ball and do something with the offense, if you even have one.
That's what
Besides
Magic
LeBron
wanted
getting
him. That's what Magic wanted
so
LeBron to do.
if those kind of things happen, they can absolutely be scary. I've never seen LeBron play that way. It's always been in his hands. He was a point guard coming into the league. Then even when he went to 2 small forward, he's still bringing up the ball. Same garbage. So if he plays different, like what Toronto did last year and fooled the heck out of me, and I don't know why I trusted in them, but if they do something like that and fool me, then I'll be okay, they're scared. They'll still get smoked by Golden State
or
and them.
Houston.
But yeah. But if they play the way I know LeBron will make people play, and we need help
Get in the
and
corner,
everyone sucks,
so-
and that garbage, Utah will smoke them. That's like
So-
You don't
Okay,
have
so
much
go
time, so go quick. Yeah.
So where do you have the Lakers finishing?
5th. As a
Okay,
ref.
so the rest of the refs.
You know what? I apologize.
That whole
to
tangent.
the people at
You
home.
win.
No,
You
to
win.
I apologize. To the people at
Ahead
home.
of San Antonio, the refs.
Not to me. I'm ahead of San Antonio.
That's the clip.
I have San Antonio at 3rd.
Oh, then
I have San Antonio. I have Golden State.
You have ahead of Utah. You have Utah at 6, right?
Can you go
Oh
through your
my
top
God.
5? Go through your top 5.
I got 1. Number 1 is Golden State. Number 2 is OKC. Number 3 is the Spurs. Number 4 is
I thought
Houston.
they were gonna. So 4 or 5.
4 is
So hold on.
Houston. 5 is LA.
So hold on. So how many wins do you expect the 5th seed to have to make it into the Western Conference? You said going on 50.
Guys, can I explain something to you? The Raptors were number 2 in the East last year.
Okay.
They were number 3 and they were 2 the year before, 3 the year before, and I said they were gonna get smoked, and they got smoked.
No,
I don't care about
but
the
you're telling, but you're
Didn't
telling
they
me.
just finish 1 last year?
They finished one. They finished one.
Yeah.
1 last year.
So hold on. The whole smoke game, but you're arguing with me that they're not going to get 50 wins. They get the 5th seed in the West. How many wins do you think they're going to need to get? They're going to need
you don't need 50,
48,
Maybe
50 wins.
47.
Why do you need 50?
Because that's going to be a real competitive conference.
I think-
48 was not your 4th or 5th last year.
Yeah, I think it's under 50. Yeah.
It was barely under 50 to get the 4th or 5th seed last year. It
But
was
it won't be
real
50.
close.
First of all,
The 5th place team will not have 50.
Like I said,
Will
if
not
I go
have
back to the
50
tape,
wins.
I said 48 to 50 or 45 to 50, but anyways.
your numbers are skewed because the East was very
So
weak
bad,
last year.
yeah.
That all the West were getting all their
Top
wins
end,
there.
yeah.
It's not going to be like
East
that.
is still
It's
pretty
a
bad,
meat,
but
it's a
anyways.
meat
No,
grinder
not
in the
pretty
West,
bad.
though. Because like I said, hold on, just quickly.
Wait, let's say
Yeah.
you think LA they're going to play each team in the East twice. You think LA is going to beat Philly twice? No. You think they're going to beat Boston twice? They won't beat them once. You think they're going to beat Toronto twice? Won't beat them once. Oh, they might beat them. No.
That'll be cool. That'll be a good match.
Yeah,
That'll be a good
yeah. Indiana, I don't think they'll beat them twice. They won't beat Washington twice.
There's
I
no
think
bad
that
teams in the
scared
West
them.
that they'll eat alive for them. Just
Okay, fine.
Sacramento's
Okay,
and
fine.
Memphis.
I
and the
just
rest of
quickly want to say, Portland finished 3rd last season,
Yes, yes.
and
I don't have to.
Minnesota finished 8th,
Yes.
and Denver finished 9th. 8th
Yes.
and 9th were in a tie. The difference between 3rd and 8th was 3 wins.
Yes.
Can't say that anymore.
Yeah.
3 wins,
Every
which
time.
is
It's
proving
real
to
tight.
you that between if Utah does, or sorry, if Houston does anything close to what they did last year in Golden State, which they'll probably still get like 62, 63 wins, there's going to be a big drop from 2 to 9.
Yeah,
Like,
but-
sorry, from
wait,
3
wait,
to 9 like there was last year.
To make it quick, but we went on that whole Utah spiel, how you love the Jazz, but you have them finishing below the Lakers
Record, not playoff.
based on the on the refs.
Like home game. No, I'm saying like home games, the hype, those kind of things. I think they'll cheat. Like, remember when Kobe went out for 60 and
So-
beat Utah? You think they really beat
Okay,
Utah
but-
that last game of the series? Utah needed that game to make the playoffs. They just gave the Kobe and Lakers that game.
So again, by 48, so the Lakers will win 34. You're still thinking they're going to increase the win total by almost 15 wins, correct?
But it's hold on, I do want to say it is a completely different team, though,
Yes,
right?
so
It's a
Rondo.
very
Well, again,
different
the only real other impact player,
Randall's gone, Brook Lopez is gone.
Yeah,
They're
yeah.
starting 4 and
the
5 are
only other
gone.
impact player they got, realistically, it was Rondo and LeBron. They didn't get any, like Lance, I wouldn't consider him a
I think
huge
they got better.
impact
They got
player.
better. They got better team players, bro. They got better team.
They got
players.
better team
Did they really
players.
get better team players with
I think
Beasley
so.
and the rest? I don't know about that.
No, but I'm talking about to fit the role. Like
added
even
to
JaVale McGee.
youngsters.
Like,
Yeah,
so
exactly.
Brooke Lopez is gone. He might have got you 16 points, but the guy can't
Yes.
play a lick of defense.
And can't
So you
rebound.
replace him with JaVale McGee, who might get you 6 or 8 points on rebounds and
Yeah.
just going up, but he's going to protect the rim, block
And
shots.
the
He's a
whole
better team
shooter, the
player.
whole shooter thing. If they, the dynamic is simple. They do have a lot of guys that are on these small contracts.
Josh Hart's all right, but
Josh
they don't
Hart's-
have much.
They
shooting.
well, that's always something that at the trade deadline
Yeah,
you
you
can
can pick up a
acquire those
shooter
guys
or
pretty
something.
easily. So
You
don't get it twisted on
you don't
shooters.
need shooters if you're playing as a team. Like yes, you have 1, 2, 3-point shooters that can hit a shot, but Utah don't have a bunch of 3-point shooters. You don't need that. It's the way that they play. LeBron needs shooters. The way he wants to
So
play.
you have the Lakers losing in the first round.
No, it depends who they play. If they play New Orleans, they could beat New Orleans.
So okay, so who do you have at? So you have them at 5th, you said?
Yeah,
Who do you have at 4th?
Houston,
And Houston,
and then Houston will smoke them.
So you do have them losing in the first round.
They're
By
fine,
your
absolutely.
standings.
And even and I have an arrow here. Spurs could come forth, and I think the Spurs could also beat
Wow,
LA.
that's crazy. You guys have that. Okay, we need to move on. 'Cause we don't have much time.
Yeah,
Sorry. Let's go through next. Next, I have Denver. And
Wow.
I have Denver. I'm
I like
very
Denver.
high on Denver, and I know that you like
You
some
have
of
Denver
their
at
guys.
what seed?
1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. I have Denver at 6, and to be honest, I wanted to be very ballsy. I had Utah last year at 3, which people thought I was crazy. I had Utah at 3. Like I said, not knowing the Mitchell situation. I wanted to be crazy and put Denver at 3. But I said, you know what? There's going to be 1 or 2 wins separating. And they did have Millsap gone for like the whole season. I like Jamal. I know you like Jamal Murray. I really like his game. He might not be a pure point guard. Him, Gary Harris, Jokic, who's maybe a top 3 center in the league. You know what? I'm putting Denver in 5. They just passed the Lakers for me. I have Denver in 5. I really like them a lot. I like Coach Malone. I like everything about. They're very deep. Will Bynum coming off their bench. They have so many good young guys. The other Canadian guy they got, Trey Lyles last year. Not great, but like they're solid. They have a solid bench. You like them?
I really like Denver. The only reason I didn't put them, well, 2 big reasons is Dallas, but we'll get to that. I really think Dallas will do good this year. New Orleans, the way Davis is talking and acting,
He said I'm the
it's
best
like,
player. in
yeah,
the
the
league,
way he's acting, I just don't. I can picture. I don't know how they could be good, but I'm just having a feeling he could will them to 8th seed.
They have Mirotic for a year or 2. They got Randall, right? Like they have
But
some
Mitch,
pieces.
yeah, Mitch is okay. Randall, yeah, but not in that. Like
They're just guys that chip in for them.
Yeah,
They're
yeah.
better than they had last year. Right?
So we'll see.
Denver.
Denver, I don't have making the playoffs.
Okay.
I think it's if they were an Eastern Conference team, I think they'd easily make the playoffs. 6th seed, I have San Antonio. So I still think that Pop gets it done in a sense where he's still, like I said, I think if DeRozan plays decently, you still got Aldridge, you still got a couple of pieces. Like he just finds a way to make it through, and the other teams realistically they're hard to trust. So I'll stick around and put San Antonio at 6.
Who's your 5th?
So mine goes Golden State, Houston, OKC, Lakers, and Utah. And then San
Wait,
Antonio
say it again.
goes
Sorry,
6.
one more time.
Golden State, Houston at 2, OKC at 3, Lakers 4, and Utah at 5.
And then finish it out.
And then I got San Antonio 6, New Orleans 7, and Portland at 8. Portland again, it could be a little bit dysfunction, but again like you said, they were 3rd seed. I know it was only by a few games. I'm a fan of Lillard, McCollum. It's one of those John Wall and
Exactly like that.
and Brandon Beal situations. One of them might have to go if it doesn't work. I do like the center.
They might get Butler for him.
It's not Jokic. Jokic is Denver. I always miscue him and the guy from Denver.
I'm John Crazy Blank.
He's also on another European center. I'm Jokic and
Who are you talking about? Portland.
Portland Center.
Portland center.
They have the guy from.
Yeah, he's Bosnian or whatever he is. Anyways,
Yes,
yeah,
anyway,
we'll
the
just go
Eastern
on,
European center. He's another one that could probably be considered in that top.
He disappointed me
Konrad
last year, 2 years
Yusuf
ago. Yusuf
Nurkic,
Nurkic.
yes, that's him right there. He's a good player. I think they'll drop off a little bit because the West has gotten better, but it's going to be real tough for a lot of those teams that didn't make the playoffs
That's what I'm
last
saying.
year.
It's very tough. There's
top end,
honest.
it's tough.
The only
There's
teams
honest
for me
situation.
that have no shot getting in are Sacramento and Phoenix. To me, anybody else, and including Memphis,
Memphis?
including Memphis. I know that you like Memphis last year.
I don't
Conley missed the whole
I
year
don't think
last year.
Minnesota makes it without Jimmy.
If they were to get an 8th, I would not be surprised. I mean, they're going to get someone back. I don't know. Anyways,
Depending on the
yeah, you just finished up, and you want to talk about
What you talked about?
Hold
Who's your
on. I
6th?
talked
that's
about
six.
Denver. You didn't like Denver.
I didn't like Denver. I have Denver probably finishing in 9th. I have San Antonio in 6th. We haven't talked about San Antonio.
Okay, so go San Antonio then. Go
Yeah,
ahead.
well, I can basically already talked about. I said that DeRozan.
You have them in.
Three,
and
yeah.
you have
I
them.
have them at Number 3.
See, the only thing we really disagree on is I think Atlanta's going to be in the basement, and I think that San Antonio, to be honest, I had them in 9, but I put them in at 8. And I'll tell you what, man, it's not even that, like, I think DeMar's going to have a big year. I think they're going to be all right. There's honestly too many good teams in the West. They're obviously not better than Golden State, Houston, Utah, OKC, the Lakers. To me, they're not better than Denver. New Orleans is better.
Can I say one thing about Aldridge? One thing about Aldridge that has always been his problem. He's like seems very jealous when other players are getting the spotlight. Like when Damian Lillard, that's why he didn't want to be in thing. He was fighting with Kawhi at first, where he even requested a trade, and then they made it work, and he started playing better. DeRozan, the one thing I like about the Spurs is DeRozan's a beta, and I think they'll work perfectly together. And that's why I think they'll have a better cohesiveness than him.
It's funny though. Aldridge is a better 3-point shooter.
I wouldn't say that. If you had to say that in terms of the star factor, you would put Aldridge over DeRozan in that sense.
Yeah.
Even though I guess stability wise, I guess DeRozan's been a little more stable over the last couple of years.
I take DeRozan, and I liked Aldridge in Portland. Anyway, so I have San Antonio in 8th, and to be honest, they were going 9th. I wouldn't be surprised. Wow. Let's go. Okay, so my order that I have right now, I have Golden State, Houston, Utah, OKC, Denver, Lakers, New Orleans, San Antonio. So we didn't talk on New Orleans yet. Let's go to New Orleans quickly.
New Orleans again. They to me again, it's all depending on Anthony. I have him at 7. It all depends on Anthony Davis. Obviously, I think he's the
he's healthy. Let's just say he's healthy.
If he's healthy, he's one of probably the top 3, top 4 players in the league. I like Holiday. I think
he came alive in the playoffs.
Came alive in the playoffs. He had a really good. He stepped up. Losing Boogie at the end of the day.
He wasn't there in the playoffs.
He wasn't there in the playoffs anyways. But again, losing for the entire year, I don't know what kind of effect it'll have because they did have some good. He was playing well before he busted that Achilles. And losing Rondo is going to be another situation because they're a team that I sort of seen that Minnesota tier where they, because of what they lost and because of so many factors, that they're a team that I could see dropping out and having Denver take their spot.
It's tough though. To me, it wasn't sustainable with Cousins, especially in the playoffs when you have 2 bigs. Now I know that Anthony Davis can guard a lot of positions, but Cousins can't. I didn't see that working out long term. That's why. That's what I'm talking about. The star power. When you talk about Boston, you lose a guy. They won't suffer as much as a team like Golden State will because of the way they play. And with New Orleans, I think that a lot of people they're not high on Mirotic. I don't love the guy, but I feel like he fits what they do good. He really had a good end of the season for them. Randall, I'm not his biggest fan. You like him a little bit. I think that Randall can chip in.
You like Randall? I've always hated him.
Oh, sorry, you hated Randall, yeah. But I still think that even him, like, he can still chip in and do a little bit of work. He's a smaller Cousins to me. He does a bit of everything. He can handle the ball a bit. I had them finishing in 7. So now I'm going to just talk.
Let me say New Orleans. I had them at 8, but I want to say one thing. If Anthony Davis plays anything less than 69 games, I'm taking them out and putting Denver.
I would think so too. Yeah. Now I have Portland finishing out. Now I'm going to use Lamar's term "fool's gold." To me, they've been fool's gold for a long time. 2 years ago, to me, they're the Raptors in the East before they got Kawhi. They have 2 star guards that are regular season guys, and now we've seen with both CJ and Dame and their stats. I'm not going to pull them up now. They shot, I think, especially Dame, shot a worse percentage than DeMar and Kyle did in the playoffs last year. 2 undersized guards that can't really get their shots off against guys when there's defenses collapsing on them, they don't do well. And you see that often. A lot of these guys, the only guy really that doesn't really suffer is Kyrie. He's the only guy that's a small guard, and I consider 6'3" small, and maybe Steph, but Steph also struggles in the playoffs. That unless you're 6'5", 6'6", and you're a point guard these days.
Did they catch a sweep last year in the playoffs?
They did against New Orleans, and I remember I said, guys are not winning this, and I said I wouldn't be surprised if they got swept. They got swept. They're fool's gold for me. Everybody got better except them. The only way they get in is if they trade CJ McCollum for Butler, which is a possible rumor. I don't think that's happening. I think they're going to stay with what they do, and I don't like Portland at all. They can, to be honest, I don't even have them at 9. I'll tell you who I have at 9 next. You guys go with Portland.
Portland, I'll only say one thing about them. They are fool's gold. And they really let me down last year, so I won't go for them again. But as for, I'm going to disagree with something you both said. I don't compare them to the DeRozan thing. I think that they'll stay together. I think they work well together. I think Cousins and Davis could have worked well together if he stayed. They have a camaraderie. They don't take away from anything. They don't fight. Beal and Wall and these kind of guys don't get along. DeRozan and Lowry got along, but the way that they play, they both look horrible.
Too well.
Yeah, too well, exactly. They had to separate them. But Damian Lillard did play bad last year, but 3 years prior to that, they were constantly saying we're going to beat Golden State, and they were dropping 40 boards on them and losing, but they were showing up. It wasn't.
Well,
their
that's like
fault.
when Washington would say we're going to beat LeBron or Boston, and they never beat either of them.
Yeah, but
it's
Wall
great
would
to have
never
them.
show up. To me, they would always not. Wall would always disappear when they played them.
I've been
time.
paying attention to CJ this summer. I get the.
He's talking a lot.
He talks a lot. I think CJ in his mind thinks that he could be a guy that can run his own team and
He's
he
not.
could be
No,
an alpha dog. And I don't think he
does that
can.
now.
And I think that's what causes the problems with him and Dame. I think they're in a
They don't have a
situation.
problem.
I think they're not in a sense where they don't seem to get along, but I think in terms of the playoffs and things along those lines, I don't think they work well together
Well, they
in a lot of
haven't.
those aspects.
Yeah.
And I think that's the reasoning why, because I think CJ doesn't think he's a backseat player whatsoever. I think he wants his own team.
I think if he thinks he's a top guy, he's
You
delusional.
just listen to the guy.
I totally
He
disagree.
absolutely
You
thinks
think that he's a top guy?
I don't think he thinks that at all. I
Oh,
think Draymond
okay,
thinks
yeah.
he's a top guy. I think you guys are calling him a Hall of Famer, and he's not a Hall of Famer yet.
Well,
Draymond Green.
Okay, but let's stick with CJ.
No, I'm never saying that. What the mentality you're
yeah.
putting on him, like Kyrie Irving, when you guys said he wanted his own team. No, he didn't want to play with LeBron.
I don't think
Don't
CJ
switch the
wants.
narrative.
I don't think
We'll see
CJ
how
wants
that
his own
plays
team.
out too when
He
it
ain't
comes
going
to
nowhere.
free agency.
He ain't
We'll
going
see how that
nowhere.
plays out.
He just wants his name talked about. He ain't going nowhere. Keep going.
No, I don't think that's. He just brought that to my attention. I don't think CJ wants it or thinks he's a top guy. I just, like I said, he's too small. He's not fast enough. In the regular season, when guys are, like you said, come to Toronto, whatever,
Mm.
not giving 100%, like he'll still get you 20 points.
But here's the thing, and I know we're running low on time. Just to see how they're seen around the league. When CJ had Kevin Durant on his podcast, they did
Oh yeah.
the way that Kevin talked about them, you can see that nobody
No
around the
respect.
league really has any respect for them.
You think because cocky Kevin Durant, who joined a stacked team, is acting cocky, it means nobody else does?
That he laughed.
Do you think people respect
He
Portland as a
laughed.
playoff team?
He literally
I don't
laughed.
think.
at
I
them.
don't think they. I don't think they fear them the same way no team fears Toronto.
Okay.
But I guarantee that they're more afraid of McCullough and things than they were DeRozan and Lowry. I can tell you
Really?
of course.
I don't know.
Of course.
Dame's hit some big shots in regular season games.
I
I'll
don't know.
give
At
him
the end of
that.
the day, if you look at the
But-
semblances, remember the Raptors got swept by the Wizards that one year, and what happened to the Trailblazers last year? They got swept by New Orleans. There's a lot. I can see his point on them being.
New Orleans won one game against Golden State, and Cleveland couldn't. New Orleans isn't as bad as you're acting. Exactly.
I understand this, but were they good enough to sweep a third seed in the Western Conference? It looks like they were.
Okay, so according
But
to
I'm
your
telling you
math,
right now
then
that-
Cleveland would have, according to your math,
Okay.
New Orleans would have beat Cleveland then.
No, again, it all depends on the
Exactly.
team fixtures.
That's,
That's
so
on the
that's
team
what I'm-
fixtures.
I agree with
And
you.
I-
You can't do that.
At the end of it, like again, he has some good points on why they might exactly be the Toronto Raptors or
No, they are.
the former
Absolutely.
Toronto Raptors. Of the
I think
Western
they'll be
Conference.
broken apart soon. They have some bad contracts, They signed Alan Crabb. They shipped him right away. They also signed the guy who I always forget, the guy they shipped off, or sorry, he's running their second unit. The guy that went second overall to Ohio State, running their second unit.
Should've got
Anyways,
rid of the Cab
he's
guy,
trash as well. Alan Crabb's a shooter. And then Myers Leonard, who they gave like $60 million to. They have so many bad deals. They have to send someone packing. They have nobody to send because nobody wants those guys except for either Dame or CJ. Move on quickly. Team who I had actually in ninth, and it's because I like a lot of their guys, is not Dallas. It's the Clippers. I think the Clippers have a lot of guys coming back. I know there's some question marks, but Patrick Beverley, I think we all kind of respect him.
He's a good defender.
Tobias Harris. Who else did they end up picking?
They're supposed to get Butler too.
Next year, possibly in free agency. I just think that they don't have Gallinari. They don't have a lot of stars.
I was always injured.
They don't have a lot of stars. But I think they have a lot of guys. Gortat they picked up. I feel like they have a lot of guys that are like the misfits that they're trying to pick up that are just going to play hard for the coach. Last year, I think they finished 9th or 10th or mid-10th.
They did better without.
Well,
they
that's
did
what I'm
better
saying,
with-
and I feel like-
Doc's a good coach. I mean,
He's okay. I don't
he's not
love
coaching
him.
his son. They shipped out his son.
Addition by subtraction,
Addition by
right there.
subtraction,
Yeah, I just feel like the Clippers are going to be a team that you play hard every day. Dallas I like as well, but I think they're in the same kind of category as
No, not
as
this
the
year.
Clippers.
I like that guy they drafted.
Doncic.
I like him. I like there's another guy who went
DeAndre Jordan.
Now,
went
rookie
there.
last
DeAndre
year.
Jordan, but there was just another player.
Rookie last year was
Guard.
really good.
Dennis Smith
Dennis
Jr.
Smith
He's
Jr.
going to do good this
Dennis
year.
Smith Jr., yes.
Nowitzki's
Yeah,
coming off the
Wesley.
bench this year.
Yeah.
Again,
Barnes
yeah,
is going to
team
be
on the
healthy.
rise.
Well, he's hurt right now.
And again, Doncic probably has a good shot of being rookie.
Yeah,
We
big
haven't
time.
even mentioned the Phoenix guys. The Phoenix guys,
He's going to be
I
good.
saw
too.
I
Yeah,
don't
so
think
many.
he's going to be
You watch.
great. Yeah.
He's going to be good.
What do you
like
think
him.
he's going to be though?
Like I see like a Ewing in him. I really
I don't
do.
know about
You
that.
think he'll
I'm
be better than
messing up.
Towns?
No.
This is
I
my-
gotta see him play.
Okay, this is what I'm saying. Quickly, because I have to go on this. Obviously, we have to cut it short. What I have said to people is number one picks that have come out, especially bigs. The guy that I'm comparing to right now was Karl Anthony Towns, who was he got way better than I thought he was going to be. But after 2 years, everybody's like, oh, this guy's going to be a Hall of Famer. Then last year we saw him, now whether it be Butler or his falling off in the playoffs, which Shaq and Charles got on him hard. What's his name again? DeAndre Ayton. DeAndre Ayton has to be, like, he's not, what I'm telling you is he's not Towns. And if he even gets to Towns' level, look at what's happened to Towns. He's kind of plateaued already.
The problem is that
and he's not Towns, is what I'm trying to get at.
That Phoenix situation, he's going to be a lot of pressure on him because he's from the area and so forth. They haven't been able to put it together in forever, and they've had a lot of like young guys.
They drafted terribly.
I think they traded Chris already.
Marquise Chris is gone. They also drafted
drafted terribly.
The other European guy who's there who's terrible.
I like the 3-point shooter. What's his name?
They got Ariza.
Well, they got Ariza. The young kid. Booker. I like Booker.
Yeah.
Booker can really shoot the ball. He's a talented kid, but they just don't.
Are those guys winners, right? Like that's the thing.
They just do a mix and match, and then they don't stay with the system. Like remember how when they had those the 3-point guard situation like that made no sense.
Dragic
and Isaiah and Bledsoe, and then it was their situations all over the place.
Bad stability at the top of the franchise. I don't see Phoenix being very good. Like I said, Ayton, to me, his best case scenario, at least on offense, is something like what Dwight Howard was early in his career. That's what he reminds me of on offense. Definitely not on the defense. But just like a big,
he can't jump like Dwight.
But he's more athletic than the average. Like, I think he's more athletic than Towns, like in terms of like gracefully and that kind of stuff. He can't dribble like him. But I think that when he's gotten up on some alley-oops,
I'll make a prediction that Bamba ends up being a better player.
I think he is, and I said that from.
I think Mo Bamba will be a better player.
The dark guy.
Okay.
Yeah.
That guy can turn into a Clint Capella or maybe.
I think he's better than Clint Capella. Yeah, I think he's better.
He's going to be a real good player.
He's shooting already. That's what I'm saying. I want to grab that guy's jersey. Shout out to Mo Bamba. I think the guy's going to be a Hall of Famer. Rudy Gobert, I think he can be a better version of Rudy Gobert. Maybe defense he's not as nasty on defense, but I think he'll be close.
Gobert sucked to me.
You don't like Gobert?
You like him?
He's like defensive player.
You know what? My bad. I thought you said Batum.
Oh no, Rudy Gobert.
Okay.
So Dallas, I like Doncic. I don't like Barnes. I thought Dennis Smith was going to be better. We're going to see if he progresses this year. He needs to fix his jump shot. Wesley Matthews, I've always liked. The Achilles injury is another guy that got him. Still a decent shooter and a defender, but I don't see that they're not in that New Orleans, San Antonio, Denver team.
They're about a year. They're
DeAndre Jordan.
Yeah,
they need another veteran. You guys want to say you have Dallas?
I just think that if Dennis underachieved to what people thought, if he just goes to that, not even excel, and this rookie does what people are hoping.
I don't even remember who they drafted. What position is he?
The guy from Lithuania.
No, the Mavericks.
The 18-year-old.
They got Doncic.
Oh, sorry. Yeah. We talked about him already. Yeah, I think he's going to be very good.
So I'm saying
he might be the best player in the draft.
And I think
he might be the best player on their team right now. Apparently, he's been the best. On the team. Yeah. They said that in the workouts that they've done, he's been the best player in their practices. Yeah. He won Rookie of the Year in the Europe League.
He was pretty good at
15 points a game. I don't even know how he got it.
But they don't score as much, I don't think.
Yeah, the European leagues are different stories.
But he's like a massive do-it-all point guard. He's kind of like a less athletic. To me, he's a less athletic Giannis, just in the sense where he does a bit of everything. Not the defense and the shot blocking, but he can handle the ball like 6'8", 6'9".
That's fair.
Dallas, Clippers, Portland, Memphis. I was gonna say Memphis. Like I said, I don't think they're gonna be. Memphis, you had Memphis in the playoffs last year. And I know that they're not the same team, but. Yeah, Conley's been gone. They've all been gone.
I washed my hands of them.
But I still think, to me, they're ahead of Phoenix and they're ahead of Sacramento. That's it, but they're ahead of both of those teams. And I really like Jaren Jackson, the rookie they drafted. He's like 7 feet. That's a bit of a defender and also shoots the three. I think he's going to have a good year. Gasol's on his last legs, but
I don't think so.
I think he has 1 or 2 years left of being still like close to all-star level.
He's a bit of a coach killer too. I think he probably needs to change his scenery too.
And then last thing,
that's a guy that's probably at the trade deadline is going to command some nice
it's just tough in centers these days. It's just tough with centers. Like there's not too many of them, right? And then lastly, guys, let's just touch on Sacramento. We talked about Phoenix already, so just Sacramento.
Well, again,
they haven't been out of the last.
That's usually a storm in like the last few years. I mean, you go back to those years when they used to play the Lakers in the conference finals every year.
Seems like a lifetime ago.
Seems like a lifetime ago. They're just not. Like, you don't even know what to expect, but again, a bottom team.
And they drafted the kid from Duke, Marvin Bagley, and even when he got picked, I'm like, I don't see him being anything great. Like, he had the 2 pick, like just another bust. You know what I mean? They have so many guys that they've picked that are bench guys that they drafted in the top 5.
One of these teams needs one of those situations to happen, like Utah got with Donovan Mitchell, where they just need their draft pick to become a next level player really, really early, and then it'll drive the team.
Still won't work. He'll almost be like a Booker. You see how Phoenix is going nowhere? They got their amazing kid, and even though they have Ariza, who I think Chandler and Ariza can teach these young guys to do something. I think that they could show a spark that will have
Donovan Mitchell had that the Utah with
a system
Gobert,
and
they
players,
have a system in place, so that makes it easier. Yeah, I guess so. But yeah, no, they're not going to be much. They're probably in top 2 in the lottery again.
Quickly, we'll just go through it very quickly. Rookie of the year and MVP. Who do you guys have? We'll wrap it up.
You go first.
Rookie of the year, I am going to go with. I'm going to go with Doncic. I think Doncic will have a big role on that team. Secondary, I probably will go with Mo Bamba.
Mm-hmm.
In terms of the MVP of the league, oh God, I'm hoping it's Kawhi. At the end of the day, I'm going to say.
If the Raptors finish first, he has a real shot.
Yeah.
Okay, so MVP, we'll get most valuable player in turn. I'm going to go LeBron.
Okay.
I'm going to go
He
LeBron.
doesn't have a prayer.
He's got to finish. He's probably got to finish at least second in the West, right? He can't be lower than second.
I'll say.
Unless you're in Westbrook.
I'll say Kyrie Irving for MVP.
Okay.
Oh, wow.
If he leads the charge and they come first.
Yeah.
And for Rookie of the Year, I will say the guy from Phoenix.
No, John, you are going with DeAndre Ayton?
Yeah, I'm going to go with him.
The thing with Aiden, especially with Booker being out early, he's going to put up numbers. Like, that I'll give him. He'll probably get like 15 and 10 just from being the guy. That's the only reason. But like, there's been rookies of the year that have not been good players going forward. Like the Milwaukee guy's a bad example. Tyreek Evans is I don't even remember where he's playing this year. But like, there's guys that have won Rookie of the Year in a bad situation that have never become.
Kid has a lot. He's really unpolished. Throwing him into the
That's
wolves
why
like that.
Tyreek Evans.
He didn't go to the Lakers, no.
No, he didn't go.
Oh, I thought he went there.
He's
I want to say maybe Dallas.
He's pretty
Someone
unpolished
search as we're talking. As well.
with certain aspects of his game. So throwing him into the wolves like that, I don't know if that's the right move. Would it surprise me if Phoenix did that because they want to sell tickets? Sure, but I don't think it's the right move to throw the kid to the wolves like that.
Well, low key, I think that a guy that might have a shot, it's just tough. They might need another injury. Excuse me. Jaren Jackson on Memphis. I think that he might just have, bless you, I think that he might have it to pull that off just because I think that he's going to do pretty well for them. Knox is another guy in New York. If they, because they don't have really anybody, and he's done well, I think that he might be another guy. I really like Bamba. I just don't feel like he's going to put enough points in his rookie year to go out and to be anything crazy. So to me, bless you, it's going to be Doncic or Jackson. I'll go with one of those two guys.
Doncic I already played against men. I think he probably has the best shot of getting a big role.
But there as well, he's not going to average 20 points in his rookie year. Maybe 15. Like 15, I think is a good number for him.
Again, like I said,
he's
going to get some looks.
But find out where he.
I couldn't find him on LA or
just search.
So
search his name.
So again, are we doing the
MVP also? Sorry, I'm gonna have to roll with Kawhi because that's he's been. Zay knows this. He's been my guy from back when they traded him for George Hill on draft day back then. I just had a good feeling about him. I didn't like what he did last year with San Antonio, just like what Butler's doing. He's on the Pacers.
Yeah, which is good.
Good for you, yeah, because you like them, yeah. But I just feel that if the Raptors finish first, which to me they realistically could, he gets the MVP because he would be the reason. Like when Jason Kidd went to Brooklyn, was it New Jersey or whatever, and he won it that first year, like, whenever he won that MVP.
So you're not thinking Golden State to win the championship? Who's winning?
That's too hard for me to address right now. I just think that Golden State is not winning. If you want me to make
you also don't think the Golden State's gonna win, eh?
I'm going all Boston. Who are you going for?
I'm going for the Golden State Warriors. That's just too much talent.
If you made me pick a team right now, I'll take Boston. I will take Boston.
Okay.
But I would like to. I also think that if the Raptors make it to the finals, all bets off. Nope, all bets are off for me.
They get blown out. I don't want to see that. I pray the Raptors don't make the finals. They will just get destroyed.
You clearly don't like Kawhi.
I like him.
You
There's
don't.
too much.
You don't.
He can't guard
I
all
don't
7
think.
of them.
I don't think they
Who does he
win.
need to
but-
guard?
And you know what? It
He's
is.
guarded one.
That's-
He'll
that's
guard
a
Durant.
W. Hey,
And then what happens when
let's
Curry's
be
scoring 40?
realistic. If the Raptors were to make the
Curry
NBA
does not do 40 in the
Who's
playoff
gonna guard
finals.
him? Lowry? Lowry's gonna guard
No,
Curry.
they'll probably have to throw DeLon Van Vliet on him. And both those guys are good defenders. And if you say they're not, then you don't know basketball.
When you said both, who's both?
Van Vliet and
Look,
DeLon.
look.
DeLon's a good guard for
Okay,
point
so
guard.
can
So
just
he
hold on.
score better than Lowry?
no, but you
Okay.
mix and match.
You need scoring.
So hold on.
Everybody
Even
on the
if the
team is going to
Raptors-
score. When San Antonio won the finals, who
Even
went
if the
off?
Well, we'll
Raptors,
never know. So
We'll
Even
never
if the-
know.
Even if the Raptors make the finals, then they get blown up. That's a W for most people. I
Not
will,
to me.
I will
If they
take
no
get
that.
more sweeps.
No, but
Hold on,
if-
if they
no
make
more
the finals, that'd be hype.
Not
I'd
to
be
me.
super hyped for that.
That's why we're happy when we win bronze medals at Olympics. I'm not like
But
that.
but again,
I'm not
knowing how the
losing.
team is gone,
If,
it's a
hold on.
W.
If the Raptors managed to win the finals, would you be happy? And you'd celebrate? Would you celebrate? You'd be like, oh, this is my city. Would you say that's my city?
I'm not a hypocrite.
You
I
would say
couldn't
that's
do
my
that.
city?
I couldn't do that.
In
I talked
some
so much
dream
garbage about them. I
land.
couldn't do it.
Yeah, no, because we'd be
That's
playing
good.
clips everywhere
Yeah.
in case you happen to
You'd
come
never
out.
catch me acting.
Lamar would be like this at home on his couch watching that
wouldn't
praise
be
saying,
mad.
oh, I wish I could be there right now.
Yeah, right.
But he has too much
Catch
pride.
him out
I wish
there.
I could be there right now.
I didn't watch one game of the NBA Finals.
Guys,
for
what
the
we're
first
gonna
time
do
in
is-
last year.
Yeah, and
I
that's going
didn't-
to change this year.
Yeah.
It is going to change. Great show. Once again, kicking off season 5. We're going to get back to you guys probably after a few weeks and see what we're seeing in LeBron and the Raptors and all these teams. For Lamar and for Igor, Joe, we'll see you guys soon on the block. Thanks for tuning in.
Oh boy.
What's the clip though? The clip is
The clip is
You're
always
wrong.
high.
He went on the rant and had to
Well,
win 5th still.
But I never said they were gonna lose. I don't understand why you guys went crazy for that.
No, it's when he said that they're going to finish in 5th because of